Welcome to Quick Shot, the video game fact show that you can watch whilst waiting for your favourite game show to start. They are just not as good as they used to be, are they? If you ask me, game shows died with Chris Tarrant and Regis Philbin if you're in the States. Now, nothing against shows such as Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, which is apparently abbreviated to Wootabam. Thank you very much, Wikipedia. But these kind of shows are just so boring compared to what we had as youngsters, am I right? Seriously, even the forgotten ones based on video games like Mario and Tetris are way more fun than being told that you are the weakest link. Goodbye. Obviously, the best of these game shows, or should I say the most popular game shows, actually ended up on consoles too, and because of the demographic, they always sold reasonably well, or at the very least, well enough thanks to the low production cost of getting in the host to do some voiceovers and paying little to no money to some small indie studio that desperately needs it so that they can actually work on something decent. Regardless, those were the game shows that got ported over to consoles. But what about the games that started on consoles? What about the games that really found their home on consoles?
Hello! Please put your hands together for everyone's favorite host, Buzz!
The obvious one that comes to mind is Buzz for the PlayStation 2, released with those big fat controllers that you always saw in bargain bins, all the way back in 2010 when fun party games such as SingStar were right in the middle of their big social boom, showcasing that it wasn't just hardcore gamers that played on PlayStation 2s whilst everyone else just played the Matrix DVD. But now, gamers and non-gamers alike can come together and push big colourful buttons to hopefully answer questions correctly that they will instantly forget about and no one really cared about in the first place. It's important to remember this social, everybody's invited time in gaming history because although it wasn't exactly the best, it is video game history after all, and everybody was getting involved, making gaming more and more social with stuff like everyone votes on the Wii, and of course Xbox desperately trying to play catch up on their system, which ironically actually had the biggest online social user base for the time. Gone were the days of buying Xbox branded stuff to simply just play your Sphincter Cells, your Borzers or your Halo Reach Arounds, because in 2010, Xbox 360 also became the go-to place to play casual games too, like Uno, Carcassonne, and eventually even watch stuff like Netflix.
Hi, I'm Chris Jaffe from Netflix, and I'm going to show you how to use Netflix on your Xbox.
It's easy to forget about this social push that Microsoft and its competitors were going for back in the later part of the noughties because, you know, it kinda doesn't exist anymore. Everything's been updated and refined to perfection. Heck, you want to watch Netflix on your Box One Season X or whatever it's called nowadays? You don't even have to pick up a controller to do so. Jesse Pinkman can do that for you.
Xbox on.
And this is why I'm bringing all of this up. It's my job to look at the history of retro consoles. Yes, the 360 is almost 2 generations old by this point. It's retro and therefore it's apparently important. There's no denying that Xbox was one of the companies pushing to get as many people as possible to use their service in a socially interactive way, and after the creation of the Avatar, which definitely was not a follow-up to the Mii creation system on the Wii, loads of party games using these homemade characters started popping up online, including Microsoft's very own scheduled programming game show, 1 vs 100.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to a Tuesday night edition, our very first ever Tuesday night edition of 1 vs 100 on Xbox Live. I am your host, Chris Cashman. Thrilled to have you here. Live show at xbox.com is our email. Write that down. Over 33,000 people playing live as we speak. Don't freak out. It's cool. We're all friends here. Our first one of the eve is standing by with Jen.
So the rules are pretty simple. The 1 needs to answer questions correctly going up against 100 contestants, also known as the mob. If the 1 gets it right, he or she goes on to the next question, with the 100 slowly shrinking in size depending on who got it wrong. And if the 1 gets it wrong, they are out of the game, and all of the Microsoft points accumulated get spread out to whoever is left out of the 100. But every few questions or so, the 1 gets the opportunity to carry on or leave with what they've earned so far. It was a great way to play an extremely simple online game with not only 101 contestants in real time with their avatars, but you could also join in yourself if you wasn't even a part of the 101 in the audience, not only to help the 1 with one of his lifelines, but also genuine digital online prizes were also dished out, with the best of the audience actually getting the ability to be part of the next 101 contestants. And if that's still not enough, as this was a prime time game show, the host was a genuine host. Again, obviously the host was displayed as an avatar that could do all of the usual host duties like pumping up the crowd, giving shout outs and cracking wisecracks. I suppose he was more of a radio DJ than anything else, but still, it gave the whole prime time game show a sense of virtual realism, if that's even a thing, that no other game or show has ever done before. This unique experiment by Xbox was extremely popular, gaining well over 50,000 viewers during its beta testing alone, and it continued to grow in popularity over its 2 seasons back in 2009 until it was abruptly cancelled, with Xbox simply saying they will continue to look into developing the idea for the future, which obviously they never did. The main reason as to why the awesome game show was cancelled has never officially been put forward, but one of the beliefs is that the game show was simply mismanaged, getting pushed through plenty of top dogs' fingers until eventually the end result was a game that didn't bring in what it needed to. Sure, you needed a gold account to join in, and sure, advertisements were seen in the game, but that obviously wasn't enough. If you ask me though, this is a fun service that would sell me on a subscription service to Microsoft, which, as of right now, I don't have, especially during the pandemic that we're currently in, facing more Zoom quizzes by your Auntie Janet than you could ever possibly join in on. The other main belief, which kinda links to the first one, is that 1 vs 100 isn't a Microsoft owned IP. It was already a game show and Microsoft had to pay rights to use it. In an interview back in 2019 on Survivor with Phil Spencer, he had the opportunity to talk a little bit more about 1 vs 100.
The problem with 1 vs 100 specifically is that it's an IP owned by a game show company. But I'll say Matt and I have had a lot of discussions about the idea. Whether it's that IP specifically, or just the idea of what it was, is something that we'd love to go do. So we're out there, kind of looking at ideas and talking to teams, because I think that was one of those ideas, and it's cliché almost, that might have been a little ahead of its time. The idea that you're going to have live events where, 100 plus 1 people come together and there's prizes and it's community driven and stuff. With Mixer, you could even do it where there doesn't need to be a local version of the game to play. So Matt and I have been riffing on these ideas for quite a while. I suspect you'll see something from us in that space because I think it just should happen.
And even if you've never played it, this video should hopefully showcase that yes, it should.